Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction, Wendy. So my name is Amanda Schneck. I am the owner of Pro Marketing. I was just sharing with Wendy that our company is actually hitting 10 years old next year, which is crazy to me because I feel like I just started it yesterday. But outside of that, I've been doing marketing for 20 plus years. And more recently been really diving into the world of artificial intelligence and how artificial intelligence, or as you're going to hear me refer to it as AI, is really changing the scope and how we as marketers and how people who maybe aren't as marketing savvy or are not as confident in some of the abilities are able to utilize AI to really elevate what they're doing for their efforts. So I'm going to try to cover a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. You're probably not going to retain all of it, so that's why we're recording this presentation so that you can go back. But outside of that, you are more than welcome to always reach out to me to ask questions, because what we do and what I explained to you this morning does require a lot more involvement come after the fact. If you're anything like me, I kind of am hands-on. I like to get in and start figuring things out, and that's a great way to learn. And so I'm going to show you some tools, and then we'll, answer questions that you may have at the end. So real quickly, I wanted to show you this. This is an avatar. Kind of looks like me, right? I created that with AI. So all I did is upload a picture of myself. I said, give me a background that's kind of lighted, but with the computer. I want to look like I'm sitting at a desk, and I want to incorporate sort of a soft blue color into my shirt. And with those prompts, outputted this picture right here. So it's fun because now we have the ability to turn anybody, any picture, anything into an avatar. So we'll get into a little bit of that down the road. But real quickly, what are we going to be talking about today? So we're going to be talking about how AI can really enhance the marketing efforts that you are doing. We're going to be talking about a little bit about like how you can simplify or streamline the processes, taking a task that maybe was an hour and cutting it down into 5-10 minutes. Not kidding. That was very possible with AI. And then how are we able to utilize AI to kind of make more strategic decisions when it comes to your marketing, especially if you're in a role where you need to be presenting statistics and how things are performing. AI can actually help you with analyzing a lot of that stuff. So we'll talk about that too. Go ahead. So real quickly, what is artificial intelligence? So artificial intelligence, and how many of us, before I even get into this, are familiar or have dabbled a little bit in some of these platforms? Okay, a little bit? All right, I like that. I like to see that we have a little experience with that. So artificial intelligence is really just how do we take a task? I mean, this is the scientific definition, but in layman's terms, how do we take a task and simplify its processes so that we are now using the information being outputted to us in a more robust strategic conversation. For those that might be reporting to a board or to a president or someone in the company that you have to deliver these results, AI will help you to analyze a lot of information. So once I go through the presentation, we're actually going to click into ChatGPT and we're going to play around a little bit. My first introduction into ChatGPT, when I first started playing around with this, I said, you know what is this platform all about? It came out last, October, November. And I started saying, what is this? So my first introduction into ChatGPT was, I just said, I need to create a 5-day meal plan. And I want it to be meals, and I just, for layman's terms of just trying to make sure that I did something with the information, I said, no dairy and no gluten. And I said, all right, let me see what you got. And it outputted 5-day meals. I went, okay, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like that. I had it in 30 seconds. So then I said, take this list and turn it into a grocery list. Bam. All of the items got put into a grocery list. Then I said, I'm going to take it one step further. Categorize that grocery list based on aisles at the store. Done. I had a whole list: produce, grocery, meat, seafood. It was insane. So I had all these really healthy meals that told me how to make them, where to buy them, and each aisle that I should be able to find that stuff. That whole task took me 2 minutes to do. So it took all the guesswork out of what I need to do. Now that's just an example of not using marketing. So you can imagine when you start implementing this into your marketing strategy, the power it has. So benefits of AI in marketing. We're going to dive a little deeper into this stuff, but let's talk about the 4 key benefits that we have really seen as we get into marketing. So really by embracing AI into your strategy, it really is going to help you to uncover all of these different ways of simplifying what you're doing today. So you could see in that call, that AI Google Assistant just called and made a hair appointment for someone, and they didn't have to physically get on the phone. You'll see that, like I just shared with you the example, the ChatGPT created me a 5-day grocery list of meals with recipes and such. It took all the guesswork out of sitting there trying to plan what food my kids will eat versus my husband will eat and so forth. And it helped me to then realize, wow, there's so much more to this. So once I started diving into the grocery store example, I started diving really into the world of marketing. So what I've found so far, and we've used our company as like a test subject with a lot of this stuff, it's helped us to improve customer insights. So that means I can then see how people are interacting with my organization. So instead of me pushing information on like how to build a website and how to film, videos using your iPhone, you may only be interested in the video part. Now you're going to get a series of content just on that. And it's personalized to you because that's the topic you're interested in. Now, Rachel over here, who works at my company, she might be interested in the website stuff. So now she may be getting information there where you're getting information on video. So it enhances the customer experience because it's a little bit more tailored to what you want. Data-driven decision-making. So what that means is taking analytics, understanding that data to then output into a report that says, okay, we found that our Google AdWords campaigns were performing at 20% optimization, but our goal is really to get to 30%. AI will help you to identify that strategy and recommendations of changes to those ads to help drive you to 30% without you needing to figure out what needs to happen. You're going to have to do some legwork in there, but AI helps you to advance and accelerate that 20 to 30% ratio that you have. And then finally, automation and efficiency. So, we all hear the term work smarter, not harder. And that's what AI does. It is working smarter for us, so we don't have to put so much guesswork into what we do. So let's dive in a little bit more with that. So first one, improve customer insights. So it's analyzing customer data, behavior, preferences, everything that makes you interested in interacting with us. That is what AI is doing. It is allowing you to then receive tailored emails that say, hey, Wendy, so great to see you last week. I know we talked about X, Y, and Z. Here's some information that might help you with that strategy. That's AI basically through my prompts outputting something to Wendy. If Wendy came to me and said, hey, could you write me a personal recommendation? Guess what? AI is probably going to write it for me. But I can input in saying, I want AI to make sure that we mention with Wendy that she's got great attention to detail and that she's confident and that she works hard. And through my prompts, AI will then input that into whatever I'm asking it to do. So like I said, we'll go through an example with ChatGPT after. And then with your marketing campaigns, obviously, you can see how well they're performing. You can see what's not working well. You can ask AI to help you advance it. So then we get into the customer experience. So for all of us that have ever gone to a website, you've probably interacted with a chatbot. That is prompts that are being put in through us. We have a chatbot. I use us as an example a lot because we integrate this stuff. So that's what the examples are pretty much going to be with how I share this information. So we have a chatbot on our site. You can go on, you can talk, you can interact, and then at some point you could say, I really want to just speak to someone live. What happens is through AI, we get contacted. We get a ding on our phone that says someone wants to talk to you on your website. And then we can pull it up and we can actually have a live conversation with you through the website Chat AI. And it's really helped because a lot of information that you may have questions on, you can easily get from the prompts. but you can then bypass a lot of it and code directly to us. So people still like that personalized experience and that option, but they kind of like the ability to be able to find the information at their fingertips a little bit easier than having to call or send an email or stuff like that. Virtual assistants. So that was Google's virtual assistant that we just heard on that video, making calls for you. So that's happening. In fact, there are AI applications out there. This is going to change some of the world here. There are AI applications that will actually make cold calls for you and call vendors or clients or prospects and interact as if they are an employee of yours. And if they receive the information, it is then passed over to your organization, because they will say, we're going to connect you with someone that's a specialist and then can really help to elevate what you're trying to do. So that exists out there. What I share with you today is going to rapidly change by the time we're done this presentation, because more and more AI applications are being introduced to the market. And if you can imagine it, I bet you there's an AI application for it. And it's going to be interesting to see how this transforms the world. And now AI is not supposed to replace jobs. That's not what this is about. This is about taking information, but working smarter for better results, instead of having to spend so much time on the task orientation. Go ahead, Rachel. Oh, thank you. Data-driven decision making. So it allows us to take information. So if I want to compare data year over year through my Google Analytics website, okay, I want to see how my analytics look, I can ask AI, all right, here's a bunch of data, and dump it in there. Help me to analyze visitors, times, what they're clicking on, what they're interested in, how long are they spending, and what's that channel path that they're taking, aka which page they click first, second, third, and what's that experience that they have. And it can say, all right, this is what's happening, but this is what we're seeing. And I could ask AI, help me to allow people to spend more time on my website. How can I get people to spend more time? Like reading through what I have. AI will give me recommendations. You should do this, you should change that, you can, alter this. So now that doesn't replace my web designer that I have on staff. Now I say, okay, these are changes we need to make, and let's make them better. Instead of putting guesswork and saying, well, I think this is going to work, but I'm not really sure. AI has done a lot of research on that stuff. And you can go on, Rachel. So automation and efficiency, like I said, automating tasks. Based on your experience, if you interact, let's say, on a specific page on my website, you might, if I have you as a contact in my system, you might get an email that just says, hey, I know that you've been on our website, and I just want to see if you have any questions based on the information. So automating that helps you to take a lot of that physical writing the email out in sales that you do, and now you're just trying to be a little bit more personalized and stuff. So that's the live feed that we're doing. And then with that, it helps with your social media. So let me give you another example with an AI application we use. We can take, so how many of you have heard Canva? It's pretty popular. So I figured most heard of Canva. So we can take Canva, and if you don't know what that is, it's a platform that you can easily pop in information and output designs, whether it's social media images, it could be flyers, it could be brochures, it could be anything, it could be PowerPoint. The PowerPoint presentation was done with Canva's AI. So, there's so much information that exists within Canva, but what I said was, how can I get Canva to help me design something, but ChatGPT to write me something, but get this all posted and scheduled so I don't have to be worrying about it? I found an application for it. So now I can take the task of writing social media content and do it in less than 10 minutes, getting it all scheduled for the month. The number one thing I hear from every business owner, whether they've worked with me or not, is I just don't have the time. And now, we all do. Even in our day, outside of work, where does the day go? Sometimes you blink and the day's over. I don't have the time. And a lot of times this is where people come to work with me. And what I've started doing is saying, the marketing is much more powerful because you're in it every day to be doing it yourself. But through my guidance and consulting, I can help you with these tools. And now, once you feel confident, you just utilize me when you have questions. But now the power's back into your hands because you've learned how to take something that might have taken you 4 hours and cut it down into 10 minutes, let's say. Now, who wouldn't want like that? I mean, it's perfect. Go ahead. So how are we going to use AI with our marketing? So content creation, that's what I was just talking about. Content creation is key. Designing images, writing content, getting it posted, etc. You can go so far as to specifically ask AI to help you write website content. In fact, I had a client the other day ask me, he's like, I'm bad at writing. I said, oh, no problem. I said, what if you give me some ideas and I just have ChatGPT kind of help us? I mean, there's a little bit more probing and prompts that you might want to ask. You might not want to just say, hey, write me website content on, breakfast items that are healthy for you to eat. It would pop up a bunch of things, and a lot of people would get those results. But if you talk about like, hey, write me some breakfast items for my website copy. I want that breakfast items to be tailored to people who are a little more health conscious, who, are early bird risers, whatever. You can put in whatever prompts you want. And it says, sure, no problem. And it actually will output you something a little bit more specific as long as you give it that data. It's like you can have a one-way conversation and ask this thing to do anything, and it just says, sure, no problem. Like when I said today, I said, what's an opening liner? For fun, I wanted to say, what's an opening liner that I could use in my presentation today? And it just gave me like some tips, and it just said, good luck on your presentation today. And I thought that was really cool, and I'm like, hey, it's even like, giving you praise and stuff like that. So it's so crazy that the way this is changing, but it's changing for, a lot of positive things. And like I said, it's not to replace jobs, because you still need these people, but you need them to be working a little bit more strategically. Think about it. If you have goals of growing your organization by 40%, but your employees really, like in the amount of tasks they have, can only really focus on so much, and maybe you're only at 10, AI can help get you up to where you want to go. And it's all these people working with it, but knowing how to use that information. And like I said, you're not at the end of this presentation going to be experts and be able to do this stuff, but it's going to at least tell you that like this stuff does exist. And when you know it and you play around with this, it's really powerful. Customer segmentation, so like I was saying, Rachel's interested in website, Wendy's interested in video. I can segregate my contacts, so now she's specifically getting stuff about what she's interested in, Wendy's getting stuff specifically about what she's interested in, and everyone's happy. Because how many times you open an email and you're like, oh, this doesn't resonate with me, delete. You don't even read the thing. People have spent a lot of time probably writing that, but now if you can see how they're interacting, if I knew Rachel was on my website page talking about website design, that would prompt me to know, okay, she's really interested in this. Same with Wendy. If she's only visiting my video page or she's talking to me about video, I just flag her as someone who's interested in that. Bam, she's getting that information. Analytics, so what AI can do is, for those of you that are a little bit more membership driven or shopping cart checkouts, it will analyze that type of data. It will look at historical trends. It will predict a lot of information that you might need. So if you're finding that your sales are increasing on Friday nights, and you need to understand, like, okay, that's great, but why? Why are all my sales are increasing on Friday nights? Or why are memberships happening on the weekends? So it will use predictive analysis to then analyze the data to help you understand, okay, these people are my target audience, but I can reach even more people by doing X, Y, and Z that it told me to. So a lot of what happens with, the predictive analysis is that it's just using information to help us make informed decisions on where do we go from here, Do I grow and expand? Do I, just get really good at my niche and what I'm trying to, evolve into? And that's what AI helps us to do. You can go on to the other two. So I talked about chatbots and virtual assistants. I mean, it's huge. I mean, the way in which we think about it. I mean, even my husband was telling me this morning, he's like, okay, I got to call this person, I got to call this person, I got to make sure I change this and I do that. And he's like, I don't know where I'm going to find the time. And I was like, hold on, let me go to my presentation. When I come back, we can fix all of this. But I can't do it right now. But see, just being able to understand that that does exist really takes a lot of this guesswork out of what we do. And then, like I said, personalized recommendations. It allow you to not only recommend, like it'll say, hey, you might want to consider adding this terminology to your content. A lot of other people are searching for it online, and I don't see through your website that you have it. Why does it know that? Because I put my website URL in there. And I said, scan my website, get to know me. That's a prompt I gave ChatGPT. Here's my business, get to know me. Ask me questions, and then help me to, deliver content that is going to be relevant to my audience. So it would scan my website, and then it'd say, great, tell me a little bit about yourself. What are your products? Who are your ideal clients? What is it you're trying to accomplish? Where are you trying to grow? So by just asking me a few questions, and I just gave number 1, number 2, wrote it out, number 3, didn't have any type of order, just randomly, it said, perfect, thanks for the information, and output this entire strategy to help me to grow my business. So, you think about it, we're almost at the end of August. It's crazy to say, right? Almost at the end of August here. So what I find right now in like the September timeframe is, yes, school starts and everyone's kids go back to school, but companies start talking about next year's budgets and next year's plans. So when you're thinking about this for your organization, you should talk to them a little bit about like utilizing AI in some of that strategy work to help you, and start researching this now. Because I could tell you right now, my busiest day of the year is the Monday after New Year's, because that's when everyone thinks about, this is now I need to start implementing a marketing plan. So you start thinking of it now, then you kick it off come January 2nd or 3rd or whatever the day is, usually right after New Year's. And it's all because, you've started developing that relationship, that you've intertwined your business now with a lot of these AIs. Go on. How are we doing on time? Okay, good. So this is what I recommend for all of us in here. If you're interested in doing anything with artificial intelligence, I would say, first and foremost, make sure that you define what your goals are. Like, I want to grow the business by 25%. I want to make sure that I'm working with 10 clients only and not 400 clients. I mean, you just set your goals, and everyone's goals are going to be different in here. Memberships, you might want to increase memberships. You might want to increase programs. You might want to, add a new product line. The sky's the limit. So think about what your goals are, because once you identify that, AI will help you with figuring out how to boost your return on investment, AKA spend less, make more. No one wants to spend a lot of money and not make it back in return. So how do we, drastically change our return on investment? Instead of, me putting in $50 and getting 50 in return, I want to put in 50 and get 100 in return. Go ahead, Rachel. So making informed decisions. So again, looking at charts like this, you could say, okay, year over year, my Google ads been doing okay. With AI, I've seen some changes in Facebook, some changes with my email. Maybe it's helped me to improve some of our trade show experiences that we have. Maybe AI helped write a commercial. In fact, not to put you out of business, Matt. Matt's our video guy. AI can actually do video. So there's a couple of different components. Again, there's so many applications, I don't have time to go through all of them today, but there's one application that will allow you to take a still photo and will actually put movement to it. So now you can use that as part of your strategy. There's another video that I could be looking over here and talking and reading a script is going to make it look like I'm looking straight at you and addressing the conversation. But really, I'm looking over here reading a script. There's another thing that I've been doing, or I have AI actually write my video scripts for me. It will scene by scene storyboard what needs to happen. And it's eerie, but yet exciting, because I can give it prompts like, we want this video to be like we want this video to be funny but engaging, but we want it to be tailored to, you know, an audience of 20 to 40-year-olds. And it will say, scene 1, this is the props you need, this is what you need to say. And then it will actually help you to develop that stuff. So, you know, the other thing that that I've been testing out and doing a little bit of is, once I have my video script, I can upload it into a platform. It will give me any type of avatar. I can pick the avatar, and the person can actually speak it. So for those of you that don't know, like, we do a lot of professional video work, and a lot of times we go out for voiceover. So there's professionals out there that actually record their voice and then submit them back to us, and we pass them on to the client saying, here's a list of 10 voices and 10 people. Now with AI, they've already got a lot of these voices already embedded into the system, so I can just upload my script, cites the whole thing, and I can just go through all the voices and pick what I want. So what does that do? That's taking a lot of the costs that I have and bringing them way down. Because professional voiceover, it's not cheap. Could be a couple hundred, could be a couple thousand, we don't know. But through AI applications, it takes a lot of your costs down drastically. So when we talk about AI trying to save you time, we've already, you know, really covered the time aspect. But we often forget about the money aspect, because a lot of these systems, ChatGPT, they have a free and a pro version. Guess what? I run the free version. There's no prompts that I have not been able to do. So it's always best, if you're interested in these, sign up for the free trial. A lot of times you'll probably get what you want done with them. You don't need to go to the advanced. There are some that, you know, we've had to pay for. There's an image generator, you know, that AI avatar that I showed you at the beginning. I had to pay, it's $10 a month for this image software, but I can basically put it in there and say, give me this picture on a mountain with sunset in the background and all these different things, and it will literally output that exact image of what I'm looking for. Keep going. So choosing the right tools, this is where it gets tricky. It's really trying to understand which tools are right for you. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of different video platforms that you could use to create avatars and create videos. There's other other assistants or virtual assistants out there outside of Google. So we've done a lot of testing with them. So if you have questions or specific, like, this is my need, I don't know exactly how to do it, but this is what I want to do, I could probably help you try to figure that out, because, you know, it's part of what we do is we're constantly learning these things, so that when someone comes to us and says, I really want to perform this task, I don't know what it is, but I want to be able to rule the world. I don't think there's one for that, but training. So AI, it does come with a little bit of training, a little bit of getting used to, especially if you're not computer tech savvy or you're not really sure what questions to ask. Again, I said getting specific, you know, don't just say, write me website copy on healthy foods, like, make it more specific than that. Yeah, it's going to give you what you want, but it's going to give you that and someone else that, and, you know, get it to be a little bit more specific. And that's why I said, if you have a website, upload it into the system, say, learn a little bit about what we do, now ask me questions and help me rewrite what I want to do. Pilot programs. What I always suggest is, if you're going to be doing something or testing AI, start with something small. Start with, I just want to do a couple social media posts and really test how that's going to look. And then once you get there, you can then start building into bigger and bigger projects. Because what you don't want to do is get incredibly frustrated and then not be able to really unlock the capabilities that exist within the system. And then outside support, that's what our organization does a lot. We're constantly working with them. And like I said, you guys are great at what you do. Like, you're in it day in and day out. Can I manage social media for a client? Absolutely. But is it the best way to do it? No. The best way to do it is to have sometimes you on your side because you're in the business every day. Instead of me saying, hey, could you send me website content so I can, put this into a social media post? But I can help you with the consulting side of things, just really identifying how to grow and scale what you're trying to do. Go ahead, Rachel. Okay, you guys want to jump into ChatGPT? Yeah. So any questions before I do that? Like I said, I just wanted to make sure that I communicated like the importance of what goes on with the marketing, how it's utilized and stuff. Any questions? Yes?
I do have one, and it's something that is, we have seen the Hollywood stories and all that stuff, but I think it relates to the potential of all AI, which is not our content that we created. So what is the challenge with, for example, intellectual property and things like that?
So that's a good question. There's a lot with AI in intellectual property and privacy. So that's talked about a lot. One of the tools, I haven't tested this one completely because I quite frankly don't want to go there, but one of the tools that I have read exists is one in which they learn your voice, and now you can upload a script into there and it outputs a script with your voice. Now that gets into a lot of privacy issues. So while AI is a brand new tool, there's tools I just won't even remotely consider right now because of that type of issue. The same thing with intellectual property. What AI does is it's learned information up to a certain period of time, and it's pulling that information from what it finds out on the web. So a lot of it is proprietary to some, but it's learned enough of the algorithms out there that it's not going to be something you can't use. So there's no disclaimers whatsoever when outputting this material to you saying, by the way, you can't use this. Everything that's put out to you is, I guess you call fair game, that you can use. Yes, Matt?
Yeah, I just think it's important to note that in typical fashion, the technology right now is growing faster than the government knows how to regulate it, which is always the case. And so right now it's going to be, I think there's going to be like a time period of just scariness of like people being able to do things that I think eventually will be regulated by the government.
Correct.
There's a bunch of bills and stuff in place right now, but like right now is really kind of the ground floor of this stuff.
Right.
We really don't know what it is quite yet. So,
right. And that's why I said, like, there are tools I know exist that I will not go anywhere near right now because it's not the way in which AI should be used in marketing. It should be used to help you make very strategic decisions, to help with your company growth, with helping you to meet new customers, new prospects, or to nurture the ones that you have. It should not be used to clone people or things like that. So that's the side of things that does exist, but we're gonna not do that. No one's gonna do that. Yeah, but I mean, it's a good question, but there is, like Matt said, a lot of laws they're trying to put in to just protect. I mean, you think about it, consumer protection, that's a big thing. We've got HIPAA compliance with a lot of things. You can't give out information. People don't want, I don't want to be cloned. I don't think my husband wants to of me. Go ahead.
Amanda.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I frame this question, but when you're inputting information into ChatGPT to help you make decisions, does it need such things as Google Analytics from a website, or can it find that on its own?
So it depends on, I guess, what you're asking it. If you want specific information about the analytics and how your website is running, there are specific programs to just analyze that. It's not really a ChatGPT thing. Think of ChatGPT as a content output. There you can do simple emails, like my husband the other day wrote a song. He gave it some information and said, hey, write me a song. And it did. It wrote a song for him. So that's the type of output that ChatGPT can do. Grocery lists, songs, resumes. It will do resumes. It'll do cover letters. It'll do letters of recommendation. It will, the other day I asked it to give me 20 social media content posts that were no more than 2 sentences each. And I said, I want you to focus just on these topics for the month of September, and that's what it gave me. So that's the type of stuff that ChatGPT can be used. We're gonna jump into it. If you haven't played around with this quite yet. You could see some of these examples. But like I said, the free version is what we use right now, and it's perfect. There's nothing that we need past that. I think it's more, you get content faster, but you'll find that it's actually pretty fast output. So that's why we use that version. Let's click over here. Is there any more questions before I go into that? Okay.